is Buadu TV. Truth and integrity.
Politicians will continue to lie before you. They will tell you the lies. Bunch of thieves, criminals, and rogues. Attempted military coup foiled. In Sembi Kosowa, papa with the whole of the Sahel region. You know, economy. I be a soldier for and so money etidia. Be a mususudrin, ehuni se bia. I want to be papa bi ebeba wo moso.
Mamu nyina kwa Buadu TV sunye na kweku anan aboyire mu wonim se enkaku san koso eye Burkina Faso Ibrahim Troare US abine pese kwan bia so yini fi won so emfa ofa ha na wo emfa ade ne emfa fa na emfa ana CDD fo aye survey bi e wo Ghana survey no maye no omo bisa Ghana fo say ye pe democracy na ekoso na se ye nya soja ban akepe ye se nipa dodo bi ese nka munya ase nka ku ana soja ban bi ba ya nka bibisa nka mudwen se nke betimi aboa oman no style bi what I say but no ye gbawrem CDD fo ankasa edi full details na ba ye gbawrem ne yakotibi.
Also the CDD's latest Afrobarometer report revealing a significant number of Ghanaians are yearning for sort of, if military system is within, they would sort of appreciate business and Yomanyama. But again, we also look at the attempted military coup in Burkina Faso foiled, matters arising, and then we would look at the third issue, the first American pontiff to be elected in the city of Vatican, and the world power. Tonight, a pact to Nzema Wohono and Yensem Kitoa. But first, before, let's go to the first issue, no, a CDD for Afrobarometer for no. Now, the media has been accused ostensibly say you're misinterpreting reports, a crime brain, but CDD for Nankasawaha. One base straight in say send a Ghana for ne and one kasa so we Ghana no ukra wadwen ya say nti aha we episode we betimi serve as a benchmark say Ghanaians, are we beginning to contemplate whether or not say military for emra system no more na saying well as CDD for nankasa eyom report no wo mo fi ha say tonight my guest Mavis Zukpok Dome, or a senior research analyst, national investigator, Ghana Afrobarometer surveys, CDD Ghana. Oh, if you say, me, what is saying? On your own. Good one, good. Yes. Now, Yen say, Sa reporting any emu ensem no. CDD 4. So, and it's beginning looking like say the media will put in twists and turns to this report.
Exactly. Yes.
And CDD for money comfortable cry and
it's not about us not being comfortable. The issue is.
But first, before you go on, I think that Sunday is Mother's Day. Let's wish you happy Mother's Day in advance.
Thank you. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, whether biologically or in any other form that you are a mother.
Yeah.
Mother's Day. And well, let me say good evening to all your listeners. Before I actually continue, before I start, let me say that it is not about us not being comfortable. It's more so our aim, CDD, we are a research think tank, and the aim of our research, especially our opinion surveys, is to bring citizen voices into policy spaces, into decision-making spaces, right? To be able to bring the citizen perspective into our governance. So it will be good to have really what they have said being represented and not it being misinformed.
Okay.
Yes. So that's let me give a bit of a context. So Afrobarometer, that's the survey, is Afrobarometer survey, and Afrobarometer started in 1999 with a few African countries. So it's a Pan-African network, research network, right? So and the overall aim is to bring citizen voice to public space, as I said. So we take citizens' views on democracy, governance, and socioeconomic issues in general. So that means that there are a wide range of thematic areas that we look into.
And you are a senior investigator at CDD.
Yes, I'm a senior research analyst at CDD.
And you did this, you were the head of this report, correct?
Yes, I lead when it comes to the Afrobarometer surveys in Ghana. So as I said, there are other countries. We have partners across the African countries, over 42 now. So every country have a national investigator who leads the team in that country to collect the data and analyze the data and put the data out there. So I lead the Ghana team. Yes. So that said, back to it. So there are a lot of thematic areas, and democracy is one of the thematic areas. And the questions over the years that have been asked are to aim to look at the demand and supply of democracy in a third country. So let's say Ghana. So if you look at it, there are a lot of questions that are actually asked around that. We do ask about what kind of, in fact, we start with let me put it in the context of the aspirations of Ghanaians when it comes to democracy, right? So what kind of governance do you want? Do you want a one-man rule? So the question of, there are several ways to be governed in a country. So would you want a one party to govern the country, a one man, where we abolish the parliamentary and presidential system and one man decides what to do? Or do you want a military rule? And majority of Ghanaians reject this. They don't want either of those three. Now, the other question that also is asked around this is the question of which statement is closest to your view, and that one is just centered on just democracy. You prefer to have a democratic rule, or democracy sometimes it's not the way to go, right? So I can read the question if that will make sense to better sense to everybody.
Okay.
So
give us one of those questions. I'm going to call Abonte on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of the democracy question, we usually would ask which of the following three statements is closest to your own opinion. Democracy is preferred to any other kind of government. That's a statement one. Statement two, in some cases, a non-democratic government can be preferred. Then the statement three is, for someone like me, it does not matter what kind of government we have. And the trend data shows that over the years since this question has been asked, from round one in the 90s.
Ever since, no?
The question, apart, like, especially when you look at it, let's look at it from 2002. So let's put more of a 20 years span to it. We have had, apart from 2022, we have had between 8 in 10 Ghanaians and 7 in 10 Ghanaians saying that they prefer democracy, right? Democracy is the preferred form of rule that they want to be governed by. As of 2024, when we did the survey, it was at 73. So Ghanaians want democracy. Now, there are other questions we asked. The other question I will zero on, particularly because of the issue you're talking about, is the question of support for elections. And again, from 2022, support for elections have been the lowest, 8 in 10 Ghanaians, and that is 81. We always have 9 in 10 Ghanaians from 85 and above to 90. And so that shows that Ghanaians want to elect their president, they want to elect their leader, right? So that question of, and even if you break it down to look at it, okay, in terms of, let's say, youth age gaps, brackets, especially when it comes to the democracy. As of 2024, 70% of youth want democracy, right? And then when you take the elderly and above, you have 75 to 78% wanting democracy. So in terms of age range, everybody wants democracy. So that set shows that we want democracy.
I see.
There's also the question of, as I said, is supply. We ask questions around supply and demand for democracy. So I'll just show one of the questions around the satisfaction with democracy. Yes. So the question usually is, first of all, we ask if citizens feel the country is a democracy or not. So you ask if the country is a full democracy, a democracy with minor problems, a democracy with major problems, or not a democracy at all. And you have, yes, that the percentages vary over the years. And right now we are at 61% saying that Ghana is a full democracy or a democracy with minor problems. So we still identify the country as a democracy. Now, the question of, are you satisfied with the way democracy works? It's not that, are you satisfied with democracy, but satisfied with the way democracy works in Ghana, right? We also have varying percentages over the years, especially when you look at 20 years now. And we do these surveys every 2 years. And then now we are at 49% saying that they are satisfied with democracy. So, of course, it has dropped.
The figure has dropped.
Figure have dropped, yes. But that said, of course, as I said, the questions around the issue of democracy preference definitely would mean us testing the issues of tolerance to military, right? So if you look at one of the tolerance to the military is whether people want military rule, and as I said, people have just indicated they don't want military rule. We have 62% showing they don't want military rule in any way, right? And then the one-man rule and one-party rule, we have over 85 and then 87 saying they don't want as of 2024. So
then, sorry for this interruption here, but then part of your executive summary I captured that says the survey conducted by the Center for Democratic Development, Ghana, CDD, reveals that 51% of citizens believe the Ghana Armed Forces should take control in such circumstances, and then 11 percentage points increase from 40% in 2022.
Right, so I was just coming there. So one of the questions that we asked around tolerance for military, I'll state the question as it is. So it's a two-statement question. So the first statement is Ghana Armed Forces should never intervene in the country's political process. That's statement one. So in your view, which statement, right? Let me do it like I'm posting it to you. Which statement is closest to your view? Statement one. Ghana Armed Forces should never intervene in the country's political process.
So these are the questions?
Yes, that is statement one.
All right.
Statement two. It is legitimate for the armed forces to take control of government when elected leaders abuse power for their own end. So that is it that is being interpreted as it is being interpreted. So these are two statements that are said to the respondent, and respondent now tell you which statement is closest to your view. So it's more of a circumstance question. It's not more of, okay, do we want military now? It's
quite
a
circumstantial,
question. Yes, it's a question of first of all, is it legitimate? Secondly, in the circumstance where power is abused to personal end, should the military come and intervene? Right. This particular question was introduced in 2022. So in 2022, we had 40% saying the armed forces can intervene and take control when elected leaders abuse
This was
power.
in 2022.
That is 2022. That is 40%,
okay.
and that number have increased to the 51%, which is in 2024 last year when we asked that same question. So in that context, yes, you would say that yes, there's high demand for democracy, but there's also an increasing tolerance for military intervention in our democratic process should power be abused.
I see. So there's an if clause.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Should power be abused? Right.
I see. But in CDD, are you scared in this report and how you captured it?
Oh, we captured it as I'm stating it to you. It's another thing when you want to interpret what we have captured.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. That is it. So our summary of results is actually out. It's online for all the questions, and it is stated there as it is, and you will see the results. So you can easily take the 2022 summary of results and the 2024 summary results, and you can even check this question out. Now we don't leave that question just there. We go ahead because we want to understand, like, is it that Ghanaians want military rule, or it is more of, okay, we want an intervention because something is going wrong? So we have a follow-up question that do ask, should the case that military intervene, right? Should they? So I can read the question as it is, if that also helps. So let me read the question as it is. Okay. If the military ever intervene in government, which of the following statement is closest to your view? The military should always restore civilian rule as soon as possible.
Oh, okay. Assuming if
that
the
statement
military.
One, assuming if the military, yes. Statement two, military should plan to gradually transition to civilian rule when the country is ready.
And did you capture some significant number there?
I will mention the figures, and then the last one is that military, right? The last statement is the military should rule as long as they want. Now, when you look,
the military should rule.
that is just
I see.
Yes.
Wow.
So when you look at that, then you have 41% saying that military should gradually return power to civilians.
Civilians.
Okay. Then 38 saying that military should do that as soon as possible. So if you put these two percentages together, then you have 79% wanting civilian rule. They don't want the military at all.
I see.
So even if you look at what is actually even making the headline, if you break it down to just take the proportion of people who say military can intervene, should power be abused, do they still prefer democracy? Yes. 68% of those who said military can intervene, should power be abused, prefer democracy. 56 says Ghana is a democracy with minor problems or a full democracy. And 45 say that they are satisfied with the way democracy works. So the 45 is not so far from the 49, right? But in terms of statistical, it's a bit on the surface. It's a 4 percentage point difference. That is a lot, but on the surface. But I mean, it still shows significantly that even with those who think that, okay, we want military to intervene, should power be abused, still want democracy. Even I can break it down to even the various ages, because I know the report state the ages. I can break it down to the various ages and tell you that even with the various age group, which we are even always most concerned about, the youth, 18 to 35, 67% prefer democracy.
The age bracket.
Yes, among those 18 to 35.
To 35.
Among those who say the military can intervene, should there be abuse of power? 59% of those, right, prefer democracy. 57 of those, that's the youth bracket I'm talking about, say Ghana is a full democracy or democracy with minor problem. And then 45% saying that they are fairly or very satisfied with the way democracy works. Now, the other thing that somebody will say, why are people thinking about military intervention? If you look at one of the questions we usually ask is around the trust in military. And trust in military have always been one of the highest.
Ghanaians trust the military?
Yes, Ghanaians
really?
do trust the military. I mean, our various surveys have shown
they don't trust the police that much.
Trust in military have always been
the highest mark.
It's not the highest, but even if you look at it, if you look at especially even from 2012 till 2024, you have between 6 and 7 Ghanaians saying they trust the military.
Maybe it's a quick one before you go to. Why do you think Ghanaians would load their trust in the military? What's the ironing of this discrepancy between other security services? But Ghanaians believe that why not? Let's bring the military. We trust them. So in the same spirit, if they trust them, then again we can hazard a guess that the possibility that they can say, as long as we trust them, then the military can also come in to help in the governance system of this country, is it not?
It's not. Using the word help, I don't know the context with which you are using it, but it's so obvious that they just, in any case, if military should come in, they just want an intervention. It's more like, come and intervene in what is happening, but please we still want our civilian rule. We don't want you ruling us. It's very clear from the findings that it's not that they want a military rule, it's more of they are if military happen to intervene. The trust levels being high, I mean, in fact, we have been having a bit of discussions about that, and the Afrobarometer questions being an opinion survey doesn't usually ask why do you trust the military, but I perhaps it's what we have heard, seen, read about the military can.
Wouldn't it be, if I have to hazard a guess, then possibly they are disciplinarian, they are disciplined.
Yes.
The police aren't disciplined.
I don't know about that.
Many times
I don't know
surveys tells that the police.
I don't know. But, well, yes, when you measure, even when you look at the trust, and then even we do test citizens' perceptions on corruption. You can.
The police always come with a low figure.
But this is the thing, right? So we are face to face with the police every day. Right. Whether we go to their offices or we meet them on the street, compared to the military, we don't have that kind of interface. So to be comparing the military with the police, I am not too comfortable with that, because I see the police every day. I don't see the military every day.
Agree.
So I don't even see how they operate. There's no coup or disturbance around where I live or where I have lived before to see how they have handled the situation personally, to be able to say this. But we have seen them intervene in a lot of conflicts in the country, in the country and outside the country, and we have heard good things about them. So given that, yes, maybe that is what is informing Ghanaians, that they are disciplined and they will do as they have said. Yes, maybe that is it. But all in all, I would say that Ghanaians are not saying they don't want democracy, because even if you look at those who say that military can intervene, if you look at their perceptions around elections as a form of rule, we have 77% saying that, among those who say military can intervene, saying that they prefer, they support elections as a form of selecting their leader. So to say, I mean, this is the context of the survey report, and the report, because we are testing democracy aspirations, satisfaction with democracy. We are testing the democracy norms, and you can't test all these without thinking around what are people's thought about the military. You have to test that. Yes.
Great, folks. My guest, Mavis Zugpok Dome, a senior research analyst, national investigator, Ghana Afrobarometer Survey, CDD. Ghana official, a CDD official, and any didn't come. Now, report where you can't want some. There's also the reason why Mavis Becca brought because when Timmy country in peace, and some money flow, English, na Utimi, a church and Yamanamu. Just say, reports now CDD for any, it does appear as in the media, no, we're trying to take it out of context. Perhaps I say media ni hujagumi, yasime kwa ni media kai, ni hujaguma, soja for, no many other, but nini na netisa. However, said numbers be, however, the fluctuation of the numbers, it be castle, ya soja for ne be more, and ya bad, nemum. Almost answer suggests says a soldier for no crab baby mukrana. And so me quick, hurriedly, normal handy over the civilian administration. Meaning that Ghana embraces democracy, no, ye papa. And that's where CDD for no a report no kanko. The Mavis babe rapia buhanma made.
Yes.
And see, and all of this, is CDD still going to pursue this pathway to find out that Ghanaians will make a U-turn and we may not even yearn for a military administration or still on the minds of Ghanaians? We still believe that we can call them as and when and as and when to us are.
Oh, so as I said, it's an opinion survey that occurs every 2 years. This question will be repeated again to see what Ghanaians are thinking. In 2022, when it was, of course, we do review the questions. In 2022, when we first asked, we have 40% thinking around that. And in 2024, when we asked, yes, the percentages increased, the tolerance level have increased. But like I said here, it doesn't mean that they don't want democracy, because even if you look at, as I mentioned, about those they saying that they want it to be turn back to civilian rule immediately, I can still even further break down again to the percentages that actually say that 51% that we are talking about. Out of that 51%, 51% again says that gradually transition to democracy. Then 27 says that restore as soon as possible. If you put these together again, you are in the 78 saying that restore right now. Even among those who, the 51% who say that they want the one military intervention should. Right, so it is legitimate. Not that they want, it is legitimate. It's more like, okay, it's not a want, it is legitimate. If power is abused, the military can intervene. So yes, that is
so
it.
Then
so it's more of a tolerance to military. It should there be abuse. So
then can we again by this reference is in Ghana, if the push come push or worst case scenario, the Ghanaian will rely on the last line of defense.
Ghanaians will tolerate. Yes, military coming in to intervene.
I see. Hey, Asamu, let us say Ghana in Nadrine, Ayane say Hunte be abo, meanwhile, your last line of defense, Yebe, which is say, Wombabe so, Memu, a crowd on man near the Jnayan, a soldier for. Because the military are our brothers and sisters. They are also Ghanaians. Sometimes it's as though Ghanaians, we are treating them as if they are like odd numbers or odd fellows or sort of. Me, into over rapia padena over kanka.
Well, I would say, as I said in the beginning, it's always good to put our findings into context and just don't pick a question standing alone and put the findings out there, because we have teams and questions are set to measure that particular issue. So the issue of our state of democracy in Ghana, you cannot just pick the question of if Ghanaians would tolerate military intervention should power be abused as the only thing going for our democracy. There are a lot of things. Support for election, accountable governance, a government that is accountable to the people. Citizens says they want leaders, MPs listening. there are a lot of things. They want a multi-party.
Accountability.
Yes, they want a multi-party rule. They want the opposition to also cooperate with the ruling government. They want the opposition to also cooperate with the ruling government. Should opposition, like opposition, those who lose, should cooperate with the ruling government. There are so many variables that actually we use to measure our state of democracy. So if we even want to look at tolerance around military intervention, should there be abuse of power for personal gain, then we should also look at it towards support for democracy as well, support for elections as well. So we shouldn't look at it just as that singular question.
Okay, good one. May jump something unrelated to this one, but I know it's a CDD more because currently as we speak, there's what you call a constitutional review. Course now the CDD more Ghanaians yearning for the need for say constitution will be amended now so for more through spotlight the
so that, I mean, it's years and years of discussions, even after the most recent constitutional review, and we haven't specifically done a survey recently, but we have done a lot of work around constitutional review. Even recently, we went on town hall meetings across the country to discuss issues of the constitution and what reforms that people want to see in the be done in the constitutional review. So it's and not only that, of course, we added the policy issues that people want to see. With the new government coming with their promises, what do they really want to see? We discussed all that. We had a whole nationwide town hall meetings, and we had various discussions.
Wow.
Yes, and some of the issues were on the constitution. So, and Ghanaians are really all for it. Ghanaians are all for the fact that there are parts of our constitution that needs amendment, reforms, review. Yes.
Okay. Good one. We shall for many my guests, Mavis Zoop Park, Domain Senior Research Analyst, National Investigator, Ghana Afrobarometer Survey, CDD. And CDD, Penifona, Ebedi Sankoin. I believe it's a what's in Semna CA Pa. And yes, a Ghana for the America 2B, and ye babe fresa soldier for Namra. Name mum, if cross be shaho. We ebeya kasa akwa my politicians are more memoir. Especially more motia bensu and more moti ichiho more paba baimu. Na mobeye mu nime bi ne ma hwe ye ma asomdwe aiden abomemu. Nemum utie report ne say the Mavis chechemu ya. A science wo Ghana for na dwen so say a soldier for no say your last line of defense. It's like a code. When we your last line of defense oh. Say hunte bi bana menti ase bi en nti ase bi nye adwuma wo mo ne ebe from say wo mo mra meso omanum. But the question again remains say bibi so sanso am money am from nso yentimi transfer betimi transfer mu pa. So therefore the military can only be there and help this nation on foreign aggression purposes and not internally like we are seeing in other nations in Masefo. Folks, but the Mavis see us in a short break. This is the front line show, of course, the weekend front line. Folks, and I'm sure it's the last Wednesday, yes, the front line picked a live feed of President John Dramani Mahama giving accounts of his stewardship, of course, the contract with Ghanaians, 120 days. President Edin Komo Ekfa Bibie Munia de Obia TV. Yankopon ya adoma next week going. Any benya time near pensen President Ninsem in Semnum ye. And the cresse NDC for 120 no my edwani na wie. And I biakem which one is which? Someone say yeah no you microscopic scopic lenses and tieba be interrogating na hwe say 120 days in bosome maku and 9 no a day and a maye from how a military coup an attempted military coup plot foiled in Burkina Faso. Tonight, we revealed how the Western element began the plot. First, a 4-star general called Michael Langley was sworn in to take charge of the African Command. And some na course of Burkina Faso. Nina Shasiano Korea said that they be a sanso no moyeno. This white supremacy here, they be omope and destroy the foundation of Africa. No? They use one of our own, and we share the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah. They use our own. Then Lieutenant General Akwesi Amankwa free fanomo, and only 2 essay Nkrumah amemwo. Now we share the air course for Burkina Faso. As far as the U.S. African Command is concerned, we must swear Sojeni Penipa Okuta 4-star general Michael Langley and almost swear in say, or no necessary, or take charge of the African region. Na nyoma say, womu dibe remno, womu edia ebira Africa ma, and nyoma basabasa, all in the interest of the Western world. Yenshe kwayam, the U.S. government in a swear Michael Langley in before he took over the African Command. Take a look. He faced the Senate Committee of Inquiry over his roadmap. The Senate Committee knew more, and the U.S. Capitol Hill. One more say U.S.O. The U.S. Capitol Hill. Okofesi Committee. Na shenzamunin koma womuni diye efa African region and in Nyoma the U.S. government in the Take a listen to the committee we're fencing encounter. The U.S. government believes that we train in military coups. Yet, as if say Africa, regional, woman say Africa be so say so Jenny Penino, one question. Masa, woman maha say a year didn't know Mabaho. The aid of Africa. Now, I am a Ukrainian, just say Donald Trump or Biden. America for you to say USAID for what crash home, yeah. Aid no mudi benina aida. Aida one mudi share newman. The last time we catch him say USAID Ejumakono is one of America's biggest intelligence organization. Information be anywhere. Every nook and cranny of Iriasi Babiano, USAID for report. Yeah. Mumie should be. Maminchia minia by so awo sechra Akufo and the cousin. Awo power to the people. Mother's Day in advance to you, right? And then Iradwa also Mother's Day in advance to you, okay? I believe say baby come oh baby or Iradwa. Yes. Folks, now woman is you. Generally, he later returned to share with the committee other forces on the ground militating against United States interests. Osaba back, any Senate ni bedin komo about forces be almost Africa. Womono, they are not serving the interest of United States. In today, Enna General Okachere Committee no. Brother Louis Farrakhan and Ode Biatoto Hon. Says here, can say, we share the whole of the Sahel region, or a shaky palm. Group of mobile cause confusion. Ya teacher binuma to William, Quay Messirim, Mipom, and William Odotum, Tata Tomune Johnny. Tomube 2 Burkina Abanegu. Omube 2 Burkina Abanegu. But Bayeka say Donald Trump and Swatonkra Afre Ibrahim Troare, but he has declined. Uncle, what's your uncle? Until say the liberation of Africa, no, in totality with the region, no, as I said, the leadership in Africa, Sabi, ya genuine who said, Yem Traho, Emma Quine, and Western world, no. And fire trada and yadiomope. No. And then we say, we share a priya ekoso. our United States, between the US government and other Amayama and other nations around the world, our the tariffs war no. Who say the tariff war no on Trump or the other share America for no corner when the air dollar. Dollar no air call from a means state way quickly. Dollar no air call from no. It is not the making of anybody. It's as a result of the trade war. Air coso. And you see, sooner rather later, the US currency will drop and drop significantly. Yeah. In 1938, there was a trade war. The same Americans in a coastal side way. Right? And after 1938 trade war, no, NME you could see the trade center, the US Trade Center. Then United Nations sought to ensure, say, no, the world must see herself, say, we are one people. You need this. Me too, I need this. Provide me this. Me too, I provide you this. It must not be said, the world must not be governed by one person's interest. It must be of common interest to all of us. But the world power, the world's most superpower, United States, on one in your mebisa. To say, yeah, can say there's a whole controller. The nations around the world want to break this monopoly, the hegemony of the United States. That political preponderance that America has controlled on the neck of the nations around the world. No, one person will break in. Nina Kahunti, Ena, Russia, Brazil, Argentina, China, South Africa, and many nations within the North America. Mina Keshia, ye kosa one currency direction bia, and also enenam riemno. Zima enti eyenime pina air kosu we ase. African leaders must understand one thing, that the leaders in Africa must wake up and wake up at the bright side of life. Oh, na yensienti won say ye ka say the global south, the global south, the Arab world, the Western world, Europe, all this continent way now, the only continent remain still with its minerals deposit, any resources are Europe, the global south, and the Arab world, Africa. Our minerals is still intact. And all these nations we are running speed to grasp to see why innovating control Africa. But I'm to tell you tonight, sooner rather later, Africa is about to take the global leadership. Yeah. Africa is about to take the global leadership. But until we do that, it will start with the leadership in Africa. What are we to do? Exemplary leadership. The world is governed by two elements, religion and politics. But I've always and all times urged Ghana near with team in whether here in Ghana or elsewhere in abroad. Say, let's learn. I'm telling you, folks, do not limit your learning and your knowledge only on your NDC MPPO. Here, take baby. Broaden your knowledge very far, and then you can understand the dynamics of the global world and where we are going. Yeah. Meka say enche sooner rather later, Africa will lead, will command the global world. But now, the world power, United States. And they are saying you mu pope kraka ho amom. Who said, do not limit yourself with MPP and NDC or Ghana happen. However, say Ghana is the epicenter of the world. We are the nerve center of the global world. But Ghana is not the entire world. No. So learn and acquire knowledge very well. In the coming days, you'll be seeing you maybe so that you can understand the revolvement of the world and where it is going. Mr. Diallo. Diallo is a theologian and a historian, divine numerologist and anthropologist. Yanin Bedim come up with the Breya Ake, so that we get into the significance of what we are witnessing now. Now, many would say, or of course we've heard, where predictions many idea by suggesting said Pope Francis Onyane baby Koeno was the last pope the world or the Roman Church ever witnessed. Question remain, where then comes, so Pope Francis was 266, now we have 267. What is happening? But we know say enipebi aye predictions be bring into all of what is happening today. My name Mr. Diallo in Ninko. Mr. Diallo, me mo adwo what you say?
Me ho ya pa na so e kwaku.
Boni bi eni akwemu kra. Now, great. Now, when it comes to you're kind of saying more historians, theologians, and numerologists and anthropologists. There is what you call the seasons and the times and the events culminating. Now, the Yehun and Ray, it's as though predictions be about that. Who said, and Pope Francis made the last pope, but then, yet the Roman Church has seen yet another pope. What are the significance of the events, the investiture, Yehun and Ra? Give us a history.
Oh, okay. There are two major institutions set aside by God to govern his world. The first one is religion, and the other one is the governance system. Both move together all the time. You cannot separate the other from the other one. And Andra, it's a matter of time because both institutions operate in accordance with time. Now, time in a bar, and so we need to start from where we are coming from, where we are, and where we want to go. It started from the time of Adam, and after Adam sinned, there was a time there. It was a osabeshe enipa, emma bibia ye biano ahotobebem. So it took 2,000 years from the time of Adam unto the time of Abraham, through whom Judaism was established. And he said, time will be a religion eduoperating, and your time will be so governance and eduoperating. Now, religious time, the longevity, 2,000 years.
Yeah.
And from Adam to Abraham, 2,000 years. And now from Abraham to Jesus Christ, so 2,000 years. Now, 2,000 years, there must be an improvement in the religious system to save mankind. It's Judaism by through Abraham, Jesus also by the Christianity by now, or the Christianity by. There was a time there now on the for no bisa wo say na mokwa bontia yesi me ye hwan elom se bisi me ye Jeremiah, bisi me ye Elijah, bisi me ye John the Baptist, and we say na mo so mo fi se me ye hwan ansana Peter eba be yina no say you are the Son of God. He said the living God, of course. And Jesus say everyone say once you have said this, it was not revealed to you by man, but it was revealed to you by God. Your name is Peter. Peter means rock. And upon this, I will build my church. Yes. And the gate of hell shall not prevail against it. So upon this prophecy, we know that 70 CE, the Roman army invaded Jerusalem and destroyed their second temple. And some of these Romans also became Christians. So along the line, the prophecy of Jesus Christ came to pass when they went to Rome to establish Vatican. And it was named after Peter, and they said the place is called St. Peter's Basilica. And since then, it has taken 2,000 years. But before then, after 1100 years, 1,000 years plus another 100 years, let me put it that way, there was a prophecy by an Irish bishop.
Mm-hmm. Irish?
Irish bishop.
Okay.
Whose name was Malachi. Malachi had a vision. And according to his vision, he prophesied in the 12th century that we have at that time 154 popes who were successors of Peter. And what is left is 112 popes that will end the work of all the popes. So if you add the 112 to the 154, you get 266. And according to his prediction, the 266 occurred concurrently with the 2,000 years, of which is set aside for the operations of the church. That means his prediction has come to pass. The one will ask, why is it that another pope has been chosen? Yes. The whole secret is that if you understand the times and seasons, you will come to realize that the old age is gone. Now there is a new order. And this new order begins with the new pope who has been chosen. That is how it is. So I'm so glad that this new pope also is an American.
And Mr. Diallo, prophecy no Irish ni be share no na chese Pope Francis here said we nya no baby queen na ono the last pope
the last pope because 2,000 years na so but there is no gap in the book of Deuterocanonical. There was a man called Ezra. He had an encounter with an angel Uriel, and they spoke about the activities of the end time. And then the agent told him, Ezra asked the angel that what will be the end. So he should show him the end times. If there is a gap, he should tell him how many years would there be a gap. But the angel told him that no, there is no gap because there is no difference between Abraham and Abraham. Ezra did not understand. So the angel explained to him that when Esau was being born, or when Esau was coming, his twin brother was holding his heel. And for that matter, there was no gap between two of them. So there wouldn't be any gap between the old world and the new world. That is why this pope has also been chosen. So it's like he is from the old world. At the same time, he is coming to begin the new world order.
The NW, the New World Order.
Yeah, the New World Order. So the old world is gone. The new world has started. Let me give you one example.
I see.
The Roman Empire. The Roman Empire used to practice paganism.
Yeah.
But there was a time that they migrated from paganism to papacy.
Papacy, yeah.
Yeah, papacy, yeah. And at the same time, let me give you one example here. Our own Jerry John Rawlings was a dictator.
Yeah.
And he also became a Democrat.
Yeah, ended as a Democrat.
Exactly. In the same manner, this one is like migrating from the old order and then continue with the new order.
I see. But quick one, before Bekono, I picked some other research. We said, Sir Irish ne prophecy no de to it was kept in the Vatican kind of say archives for a very long time, as though I see MPC will be able to say were secret archives. Yeah.
The prophecy came in the 12th century, but it came out in the 16th century. They kept it for 4 centuries.
I see.
So it was in the 16th century that it was leaked to the public domain.
Wow.
So everything that he said is true, because the 266 Pope, the 266 Pope took place from the time the Roman Catholics came into existence, and then ended at the end of the 2000 years.
I see.
Yeah, which is set for a transformation period, a period of transformation. So now, if you link it to the governance system, which also operates according to its own time of 400 years. If you have read Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 to 16, God told Abraham that his descendants will go to Egypt, or in a nation where they will be slaves for 400 years. So that 400 years is set aside for a governance system. So, looking into the democratic dispensation, which started in America from 1630 till this time, it is also nearing its end, its culminating point, because it has been 400 years old. So this governance system of 400 years old and the church system of 2,000 years old have now come together. That is why this Pope has been chosen from America. So now
the world power.
Church power, So now the church powers is in America, as well as the system of governance, or the governmental powers. Now we are waiting for what will happen. Because the time has come for the church to be relocated or translocated. Exactly.
I see.
It is not only for transformation, but the church must also be relocated. And where it is going is the African continent. I don't want to be specific by mentioning the nation, but it is coming to African continent. It could be Ghana also, because of our location in the center of the earth.
Yeah.
So we are waiting for actions from the Pope. I don't know what the Pope is going to do, because you have to understand the times and seasons. If you do understand the times and seasons, then you will also be able to know what you have to do. Without understanding the times and seasons, you will never know what you have to do. That's why when you read Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 7, God is saying that even the swallows, the turtle doves, is using some animals as example, that because they understand times and seasons, they are able to migrate. But his people do not understand times and seasons. He was referring to pastors, ministers of God. So if this Pope understands the times and seasons, what he has to do is to relocate the Vatican or the church system to another country. For example, it was taken from Israel 2,000 years ago, isn't it? Yes, now the 2,000 years has also expired in Rome. So it must be taken to another place. Exactly.
I see.
Hello?
But maybe some question we Mr. Diallo. Now, Ebinimu forecasted shortly after the demise of Pope Francis. Now is the African turn. Therefore, Ghanaians were hazarded and say our own Cardinal Peter appear Texan and Ebiduno so and Amniadia. The world saw what we've seen as of now.
If looking at the synchronicity of the times, you see, the world power is nearing its 400 years.
And that's United States.
Very good. And also, the time for the church to end is also coming to an end.
I see.
Yes, we are waiting till we get to 2030. But there could also be an intervention from God. Because if you read Matthew chapter 24, 21 to 22, it tells us that there will be so much difficulty that if God does not intervene, yes, the elect will not survive.
Or say na ewiase be ya diama ono onyankopon no ni die mukura na anhwa no wo man survive nti se wentwa ebre ne so and that is Matthew 24 Matthew 24:21 say for then there will be great tribulation. such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no nor ever shall be. Matthew 24:21.
Exactly. So there's going to be an intervention, and the time for the intervention, I know it is 2027. It will not be surprising if it becomes a rumor that the Messiah is around, but it will be very difficult to find the Messiah because, yes, of course, because at this juncture, there are going to be so many hardship, tribulation, and that is the time that people will be looking for the Messiah to come and save them.
Yeah.
But it will also be difficult to find the Messiah because his coming will not be observatory. If you read Luke chapter 17:20 down, and the Pharisees asked the Messiah, how will his coming be?
Yeah.
And then the Messiah told them that his coming is not observatory.
Yeah.
Nobody will see him. But the Son of Man will first come and suffer a lot.
Yeah. Mameka Luke 17:20 was say now when he was asked by the Pharisees when the kingdom of God will come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of God does not come with observation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So nobody will be able to see him until God himself unveils him. But, yeah, he is around, Mom. He is around.
I see. So it means that the world is about to witness all these great tribulations. Now, looking at the world power, the United States, and around the world are the very, that epitomizes the signs and the seasons.
Well,
with even the Pope arrival.
It is explicitly explained in Matthew chapter 24 concerning the tribulation that is to come.
I see.
And if you read the book of Daniel 9:2, it talks about flooding. It talks about epidemics, wars, famines, all these things the world is about to experience. We are already experiencing.
America part the whole of 2 years in Ukraine, and you may see America memo funny, cyclones in it, tsunamis, heavy disasters.
Melbourne. There was an earthquake yesterday. They are going to happen all the time until the Messiah comes to intervene.
Yeah, Daniel chapter 9 verse 2. I say, in the first year of the reign, Daniel understood by the books the number of the years specified by the word of the Lord through Jeremiah the prophets, the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolations of Jerusalem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then this same 70 years can also be read in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 10 and 11. We have to go through the 70 years. Because, the 70 years represents year of platinum, the Jubilee. Exactly. So you have to go through it. After that, then you get your freedom.
I see.
Exactly. That was why God told them that He's not punishing them. All what He's doing is to give them an expected end. So if you can read Jeremiah
29 verse
10 and 11.
Yeah, Jeremiah 29 verse. And I'll say, for thus says the Lord, after 70 years are completed at Babylon, I would visit you and perform my good word toward you and cause you to return to this place.
Exactly. Ghana is also going to experience 70 years. And after the 70 years, things will begin to go well in Ghana.
I see.
Yes.
But in all of this, maybe some question ways you say, where in all of this rendezvous, where is Africa will be placed? Africa benya fa hundie bi in all of this and
for sure.
Yeah, baby, we are so.
For sure, because that is why I told you that I don't know the intentions of the Pope.
Yeah.
Only he understands the times and seasons.
Yeah.
He will translocate the church to Africa. He will relocate the Vatican to Africa as it was relocated from Israel
to Rome.
Exactly. Because the 2,000 years is up. It is time for Africa now to enjoy. It is time for Africa now to get out of that mental slavery.
I see.
Yes.
Wow. This is a great teaching. So, yeah, folks, Mr. Diallo, and no Mr. Diallo, a theologian, historian, divine numerologist, and anthropologist. And of course, Maminka, way quickly, there's a very good reason why in Tia, Mimpese made a picture for very, very obvious security reasons. In Timuana Mubisi and the pictures, no, and yeah, they're making a picture about, but of course, the word nowadays, should be much concern to all of us. Now, we share this historical artifacts or day be nano. These are global events and ninano. We are say ebabe yay ebabe see. Now, my name is Mr. Diallo. Ebabe did in the coming days, weeks, months. Was serious event. Bebreno, all of you as a so biya day. Ya who say ube suya de ehunye bi a ekoso we are say. And not Ghana, high in your address, Ghana penny de we are say the world is bigger than where you are, and you need to know the times and the season and what revolves around us. Now, the dialogue would be and then they may be on the back of my.
Oh well, what I have to say is that there's going to be a lot of difficult times ahead of us. So everybody must be very careful, particularly when traveling, particularly people who travel abroad, because Jesus Christ warns us that woe unto those who take their flight in winter. So in winter times, I know we are not in winter at the moment, but coming ahead of winter, people must be very careful not to travel at that time, because there's going to be a lot of catastrophes concerning whatever Jesus Christ has said until he is found. As soon as Jesus Christ comes, all these things will come to an end. And he's bound to come any moment from 2027. He is around, but nobody can find him, as the Bible has said. It is to fulfill a prophecy. Hello, Kweku. Hello. Hello, Kweku.
Okay, you're back connecting on Enche. All right. Okay, Mr. Diallo, but what's the main car?
I'm a two on
Good one. Now all wrap up for mami. Quick one.
Oh, okay. The Americans said there will be a lot of catastrophes.
Yeah.
Because of the tribulation period. It will be unsure.
Yeah.
But rest assured that the Messiah is about to come.
I see.
Exactly.
Good. Wonderful. Me do be see as a way just an open remarks. Me per se Imri Odeto. Now you've done it beautifully. In the very coming days, weeks, months coming, you know about a special edition pa. You dig Ghana mining na ebiura saati bi emumu sua neme bia enye neme bi keke, but to understand the seasons and the times and the world events and so forth. But quick, before you go, we have to understand say Pope Leo the 14th. One obabe share at the forefront, and I can understand you say the new world order also so another year able take over the world in its that
one will be eternity.
Yeah.
You see, we have the 2,000 years, which represents long-term system of governance.
Yeah.
But the next stage is eternity. Exactly, because it is Christ Himself who is coming.
Yeah.
So our next stage will be eternity.
I see.
Exactly.
Good one. Meda was papa Imre. Yeah, that's papa. Great analysis. And now they are two man. And the folks, Mr. Diallo, ni any din komono. You be din komo we more than this crowd. Now we I mean, kind. Mr. say hello, Kweku. The Vatican's choice exposes a harsh truth. Africa voices are still marginalized. It is time for African leaders to unite, prioritize development, and lead with purpose. Captain Ibrahim Troare's vision for Burkina Faso is a beacon. Let's forge our own path, free from external bases. Echo Thomas and Odebayan. Maybe we she maybe so happy Mother's Day in advance. MC Amonian ready, mame. I say if this is not a doing of anybody, as you stated, why other currencies like Naira and CFA are not performing like our city? Please give credit to those in authority and come in peace. Meaning, baby, I offer. You can do your politics now, but and I'm not interested in your politics. I'm sorry, please forget about those crap. Well, see, Kweku, please don't allow people to lie on your show. Someone said, President Mahama said he was deducting 10% of the former appointee's salary for development, but they didn't see what they used the money for. Well, if they care to know that that was one he used to build so many cheap compounds in the country. Odeneho Debra, no, they buy politics and they say and then I shall make no. Mo politics ni na ye NDC MPP na mo be yes 32 years and still counting, and still your politicians will continue to lie before you. They will tell you the lies, bunch of thieves, criminals and rogues. They will twist your mind, fickle your mind, because they know your minds are fickle. I mean, you're interested though.